Hello everyone, I am Dr. Millie and today we are going to learn a new theory, and that is molecular orbital theory. Now you must be thinking that already we have done one theory, that is valence bond theory, which has explained us many things very nicely. That is the making of sigma bond by the complete overlapping of the orbital, making of pi bond by the sideways overlapping of the orbital, and rest of the things were also explained, and now we are very clear that why the bonds are formed. Hybridization process along with valence bond theory explains many of the structure of various kind of molecules. Then what is the need to go for the theory, new theory called molecular orbital theory? So students, there were some flaw in the valence bond theory, and what were these flaw? That we are going to discuss first, and then we will talk about the new theory which can explain us the rest of the things which were not explainable by valence bond theory. So let's start with it. So first of all we are going to see the flaws. So first flaw of the valence bond theory was that it could not explain us the comparative bond strength of the molecule. For an example, if I am talking about nitrogen and oxygen, nitrogen and oxygen, out of these two which will be more reactive or whose bond will be more stronger, that it could not explain. It tells us that sigma bonds are stronger, pi bonds are weaker, but it does not speak about the strength of the molecule. So the comparative bond strength of the molecule, this theory does not talk about. The second flaw of this theory was that it does not explain the color of coordination compounds. First of all, you must understand what is coordination compound. These are the special category of compounds, salts, which we will learn in the 12th standard. But you just understand that these special salts called coordination compounds, these special salts are most of the time colorful. Why these salts are colorful, that cannot be explained by this theory called valence bond theory. Now, the third flaw and the major flaw of this theory was that it could not explain the magnetic behavior of some molecule. So first of all, let us understand what do you mean by the magnetic behavior. Basically, two types of magnetic behavior you are going to understand here. The first is paramagnetic and second is diamagnetic. So as we know that the species, atoms or molecules, they are containing electrons in them. When any species is having only paired electrons in it, that species having paired electron in it is called diamagnetic. It is diamagnetic. So the paired electrons containing species. And these type of species do not get attracted towards the magnetic field. They are repelled in the magnetic field. So do remember, they are repelled in magnetic field. So the species which are having electron pairs in them, every electron is paired up, that species is called as diamagnetic, and these kind of species have repulsion, they show repulsion in the magnetic field. On the other hand side, the another species which are having unpaired electrons in them. For an example, 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron, they are not paired up. जैसे कि if I am using this p orbital, so 1, 2, 3, you can see there are 1, 2 and 3 unpaired electrons. So these type of species having 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 unpaired electrons in them, they are called paramagnetic. So this is unpaired electrons. Okay, and what will be the effect of unpaired electron? These unpaired electron having species, they are attracted towards the magnetic field. So they are attracted. So these are the two types of magnetic behavior shown by the molecules, paramagnetic and diamagnetic behavior. Now, when we talk about the paramagnetic and diamagnetic behavior and we see the oxygen molecule, this oxygen molecule is made by two oxygen atoms, and bonds between these two, there are two bonds made between these two atoms, and according to valence bond theory, the atoms combine to form the bonds, and the one electron from one orbital and another electron from another orbital combines, they pair up. On the other hand side, if there is second bond formed, the another orbitals will be combining and they will also pair up. So half filled and half filled orbital pair up to form the bond. So what should be the nature of this oxygen molecule? Obviously, because obviously the diamagnetic behavior it should show. Oxygen should show the diamagnetic behavior, but it does not happen. When we go through the experiments, we observe that the oxygen molecule is found to be paramagnetic. So, the paramagnetic behavior of oxygen is not explained by valence bond theory. That is why we have to learn a new theory. So, this is the latest theory we have, molecular orbital theory. So, let's begin with the theory. This theory, molecular orbital theory, was given by Mulliken and Hund in 1932. So, what does this theory say? This theory says that as in the atoms we have atomic orbital, when the atoms combine to form the molecules, they form molecular orbitals. When the molecules are formed, atomic orbitals lose their identity. They convert completely into the molecular orbital. So, as in atoms, atomic orbitals are existing, in the molecules, molecular orbitals are existing. And apart from that, if we talk about the valence bond theory may we were talking about only valence shell electron. That is, we used to skip the orbitals which are inner shell orbital and we take only outer shell orbitals. That is, we used to say that only outermost shell orbitals are participating in making a bond. But this theory says that all the orbital of atoms reconstructed when they make molecule, means starting from 1s to 2s to 2p or 3p or 4p, all the orbitals will be reconstructed. They convert into the molecular orbital and then the electrons are filled into them again. This is about reconstruction of the atomic orbital into the molecular orbital and the refilling of the electrons in the molecular orbital. Okay, the major difference is all the orbitals are participating, that is inner shell orbital and outer shell orbital. Uske alawa the orbitals are no more atomic orbitals, they are new, they are molecular orbitals. But in valence bond theory we were talking about the atomic orbitals combined this way and the combination may be positive or it may be negative. So combination of two orbitals may lead to the bonding or may not lead to the bonding. But here what they are saying is, listen carefully, this theory says that when two atomic orbital combines, they combines to form two new molecular orbitals. And these two new molecular orbitals are formed by the wave nature, by the constructive inference of the two orbitals and the destructive inference of the two orbitals. Let's understand this concept that if we talk about, actually this theory is totally depending on the new quantum mechanical model of atom and completely accept that these electrons show wave character. So what happens is, if we start talking about the wave mechanics, we have to explain the psi concept and wave function we have to deal with. When we are going to deal with the wave function, we have to take the value using the Schrodinger equation, then we are going to find out. But that becomes difficult. That is why easier way to understand the combination of orbitals, atomic orbitals to form the molecular orbital is linear combination of atomic orbitals. What we are considering here is linear combination of atomic orbitals. Means here we are going to talk about the two waves coming in contact with each other, and just because they are wave, the wave function, we know that the electrons ka wave function is represented by psi. But when we talk about the amplitude of the wave, that gives the intensity, and psi square explain us the orbital. Psi square means the intensity of the electron. That means the probability of finding of electron in that particular area is maximum. Okay, so if I talk about the psi square of the two atoms combining to form the molecule or the molecular orbitals, how they are going to combine. For an example, if atom number 1 is having psi 1 wave function, atom number 2 is having psi 2, wave function is psi 2 for it. If these two orbitals are combining, what will happen? Now these two can combine in two ways. Psi 1 and psi 2 are in phase. These these are the two waves, they are in phase and they are going to give the constructive interference of these two waves. If they are constructively combining, then the chances are, according to a plus b whole square, this becomes psi 1 square plus psi 2 square plus 2 psi a and psi b. So as per this equation also, the probability to find the electron increases by this unit. You can see there, that was the probability before when they are mixing. Now the probability is increasing, and when this happens, what happens here? Now these two orbitals which are combining with each other, these two orbitals combines this way. Okay, now you can see here the probability of finding of electron between the two atoms increases. Okay, and when it increases, this is shielding the interaction between the two nucleus. That is why these two nucleus does not come in contact with each other and their stability increases. So that this is called molecular orbital. On the other side, when we are talking about the valence bond theory, we used to make the combination like this. Remember that? We used to do it like this because that time they were not losing their identity. But this time this is molecular orbital. This is valence bond theory. This is molecular orbital theory. This theory says that molecular orbitals are polycentric in nature. Means एक molecular orbital में दो nucleus हैं and these two nucleus are influencing the electrons present. On the other side, this was monocentric one, means there is no concept of molecular orbital. ये इसका nucleus है, ये इसका nucleus है. So this way, this is the concept we are going to have. This is molecular orbital, this is molecular orbital, and this is atomic orbital making a bond. So there is a difference. So we are not going to deal with it now. Okay, so that the possibility is these two atomic orbitals of A and B type are combining with each other to form this molecular orbital. Now, if these two waves, psi 1 and psi 2. Okay, here I have, by mistake I have written down A and B because we were dealing with atom number 1 and atom number 2. So we will be getting this Y1, psi 1 and psi 2. Now, if we talk about the two atoms and these are not constructively mixing with each other, they are going to mix in such a way so that their waves are undergoing the process called destructive interference. Now what will happen then? These two orbitals, orbital number 1 and orbital number 2, these two are going to combine in such a way so that, look at this, so that the probability of finding of electron between the two nucleus is not there. There is a nodal plane between them. Now can you understand? Because there is no electron in between, these electrons cannot work as a shielder in between the two nucleus. So what will happen? These two will repel, the stability will decrease, and that is why these orbitals will have more energy and less stability. Hence, these two type of possibilities are there. If I talk in terms of psi 1 and psi 2, how I can write down the destructive influence? That is psi 1 minus psi 2. This time this is destructive influence whole square equals psi 1 square plus psi 2 square minus 2 psi 1 psi 1. Okay, so can you see there the probability of finding the electron is decreasing between the two orbitals. So these probability of not finding the electron in between will bring them together and they will feel repulsions with each other, जिसकी वजह से their energy will be increased. And if their energy will be increased, then what? Then they will be having higher energy. You can see there are two possibilities, and these two possibilities are given the new name to these orbitals, a special name to these orbitals, that these kind of orbitals having less energy are called bonding molecular orbitals. And these type of orbitals having higher energy comparative to atomic orbitals which are combining, these are called anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So what this theory is saying that when the atomic orbitals combine, they combine in two ways. Either by the constructive interferences which gives you bonding molecular orbitals having less amount of energy, less than bonding orbitals. On the other hand side, they may combine destructively. They undergo the process called destructive interference of these two waves. In that case, they will be forming anti-bonding orbitals, and these orbitals will be having higher energy. Now the question is that in case of atomic orbital, we have some restriction that almost similar energy orbitals can combine with each other. So do we have the same kind of restriction here, or any type of orbital can combine with each other? So we have to understand here there are conditions for the mixing of orbital. The condition is that same energy, the orbitals with the same energy can combine with each other. For an example, 1s orbital can combine with the 1s, 2s orbital can combine with 2s, 2p orbital can combine with 2p. So you have to make sure that the orbitals which are combining with each other should be of same kind. They should have same orientation also. Same orientation means that pz is combining with the pz. px should combine with the px. py should combine with the py. This way, the orientation, the energy of the orbital should be same for the combination of them. So now we are going to see how to make the orbital diagram, molecular orbital diagrams, to explain it in a better way. So let's see to it what is molecular orbital diagram and what are energy levels we want to show in terms of anti-bonding and bonding molecular orbitals, and how we are going to make it on the paper. Are you ready to understand new type of configuration, that is configuration of molecule, electronic configuration of the molecule we are going to have according to energy level, and then we are going to fill the electron in them. Okay, so before starting it, I am going to give you some instruction that whenever you are drawing them, what precautions you have to take while drawing them, and what are the basic things which we have to take care. Okay, so the first thing is whenever you are combining one S, you can combine it only with one S, yani the atom A. If you are taking one S from the atom A, so you can combine this one S of atom A with the one S of atom B. As you are already told that the same type of orbital can combine with each other, isn't it? So if you want to make A with A and B, if you want to combine A and B to form AB molecule, you can combine S with the S, you can combine 2s with the 2s, you can combine 2p with the 2p, kind of means same energies orbitals can be mixed. Second thing is, whenever you are drawing the orbital, suppose I have to draw 1s and 1s of the two atom, how I am going to draw it? Look at this. This is a base on which I am going to draw the electrons. Okay, so this is the base. As you can see here, I have drawn both the bases at the same level. Okay, so it means that both the orbitals are of same energy level. I am taking here the example of hydrogen molecule, and obviously hydrogen molecule is made up of hydrogen atom, and two atoms will be involved in the process. So what I am doing is I am taking hydrogen, and hydrogen configuration of hydrogen is 1s1. Another hydrogen I am taking here, and that is also having the same configuration, 1s1. Hydrogen number 1 and hydrogen number 2. These two are coming to form the molecular orbital. And which orbitals are going to participate in this? 1s1. So here I am writing down 1s1, and here this another atom is also participating 1s1. Now I am going to draw these orbital here, and at this particular energy level, which is showing the base is showing energy level. Okay, so this is 1s. One box means 1s. Now how many electrons are filled? 1. How many electrons are filled? 1. 2 orbitals are participating. Atomic orbitals are participating. 2 new molecular orbitals are going to be formed. But one of the molecular orbital will be bonding orbital, and one of the orbital will be anti-bonding molecular orbital. As I have already told you that bonding molecular orbitals are having less energy, less than atomic orbital which are combining, and anti-bonding molecular orbitals are having higher energy because they are having nucleus in touch with each other. So they are going to have increased in energy. So how you are going to draw these two type of orbital diagram? Look at this. From this energy level, I am going to take it downside this way, This also going to be downside to make the bonding of molecular orbital, and these will also go to the upside to make anti-bonding molecular orbital. So these are the two levels now. Okay, and two types of orbitals are formed. So this is the box we have formed, and this one box is indicating anti-bonding. This one box is indicating bonding molecular orbital. Okay, and just because s orbitals undergo the direct overlapping, the orbital formed here will be sigma 1s bonding molecular orbital. So make sure 1s is indicating atomic orbital and sigma 1s is indicating bonding molecular orbital. Okay, on the other hand side, these two are making antibonding also. So how we are going to represent antibonding molecular orbitals? Antibonding orbitals will be indicated by sigma star. These all are, both of these are S now. So S will make sigma always, but just because it is antibonding are represented by the sigma star. So this is sigma and this is sigma star. But they are made by the combination of 1s, so we will be writing down 1s. So we have got two molecular orbitals, sigma, which is indicating bonding, and sigma star, which is indicating antibonding. Fine. Now we have to start filling the electron in the molecular orbital. How we are going to fill? We will follow the same rules which we were following at the time of filling of electron in atoms. That is, we are going to fill it according to Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. We are going to fill it according to the Gauss principle. That is, from the lower level to the higher level we will be reaching. We will not leave any of the orbital unfilled. Okay, so I am filling the electron. How many electrons we have in total? We have 2 electrons in total. What they are? 1, 2. So I am going to fill 1 electron, 2 electron, and first it will be filled and second electron will also be filled in the sigma 1s. Here we had only 2 electrons. Both the electrons we have filled. So this is called energy level diagrams of the molecule hydrogen, which is made by the combination of 2 hydrogen atoms, hydrogen number 1 and hydrogen number 2. These two are combining, the 2 new orbitals are formed, bonding, anti-bonding. Bonding orbital, because these are bonding orbital made by the combination of s orbital. So S star combination will give you sigma orbital because they overlap directly. On the other hand side, another type of orbitals, if 2s we are combining with 2s, they will also give you sigma orbitals. But how you are going to represent them? You are going to represent them sigma 2s. So this sigma is actually indicating the molecular orbital. Those who will be responsible for the direct overlapping will be represented by sigma, and those who will not be overlapped directly, they will be represented by pi molecular orbital. So let's talk about the p orbital first. Just because p orbitals are made by px, py and pz, which are having the different orientation. So here I am writing down px, py, pz. Okay, and another atom will also have px, py, pz. One rule I have told you, that is px can combine with the px, py can combine with the py, and pz will combine with the pz. Always remember that pz and pz, these two conventionally are used to make sigma bond. That is, conventionally it is assumed that pz is drawn like this and this pz combined with the another pz this way. So this gives you sigma type of bonding. So always remember, when you are going to make the molecular orbital, pz and pz will combine to form sigma molecular orbital. P sigma molecular orbital, and px and py will combine with other px and py to form, obviously next bond will be pi because only one bond is sigma bond. Okay, so this we have to take care of. Now let us make molecular orbital diagram for the nitrogen molecule, which will include the p orbitals also, so that you can better understand them. How to make the energy level of the p orbitals, because I've taken only hydrogen, which is not making clear how you are going to draw it in the p orbitals. So let's take it. I am taking here nitrogen molecule. Okay, so first of all we have to see what is the configuration of the nitrogen. It is 1s2, 2s2 and 2p3. And both the nitrogen which are combining to make nitrogen molecule will have the same configuration, isn't it? But as I have already told you that every orbital In the valence bond theory, we used to keep it aside because we are not supposed to involve it into the making of bond. But this time these all orbitals are going to convert into the molecular orbital. We are going to fill them according to Aufbau's principle. So let's start making the nitrogen molecule orbital diagram. Okay. So here I am starting from the 1s. So I am going to combine the 1s of the one nitrogen to the 1s of the another nitrogen. On the left hand side I am going to make nitrogen number 1, and on the right hand side I am going to make nitrogen number 2. Okay, so this is energy level. Both of them will be having same energy level. Here is 1s of the first nitrogen and here is 1s of the another nitrogen. I am starting from this is 1s and this is 1s. Now look at this. How many electrons are there in the 1s orbital? 2. So I am making 2 electrons. Here it is done. 2 orbitals are combined, 2 new orbitals are formed. One will be having lower energy, bonding molecular orbital. One will be having higher energy, antibonding molecular orbitals. So this is bonding and this is antibonding. Bonding orbital made by the s orbitals are called sigma. Because we are taking 1s here, so this orbital will be called sigma 1s. This is called sigma star. Because it is made up of 1s combination, it will be called sigma star 1s. We have 4 electrons in s orbital of this and this, total 4 electrons we are having. So we are going to start filling the electron in the downside orbital first and then we are going to reach to the higher one. So let's see, 4 electrons are there. So first of all I will fill this one, 1, 2, and then I am going to fill this one, that is 1, 2. Now all 4 electrons are filled and this is 1s combined to form bonding and antibonding, both are filled. Now let's see what will happen when 2s will combine with the 2s of the nitrogen, another nitrogen. So this is, here we have 2s of the first nitrogen and 2s of the second nitrogen. This is orbital and this is 2s orbital of this nitrogen number 2. Now because 2 are combining, 2 will be formed. One is bonding, another is antibonding. 2 electrons are there, you can see here, 2 electrons are there also. This is called sigma 2s orbital and this is called sigma star 2s orbital. Because they are going to make the direct overlapping, we are using the term sigma star or sigma. Now let us fill electrons in them. How we are going to have, how many electrons we have? 4. So I am going to start filling from here and then I will reach to this side. Okay, all 4 electrons are filled. This is completed. Now we have to go for the next level and that is P3. So here I am going to draw the P of the first nitrogen and here I will draw the P of next nitrogen. The energy level of the P will be higher. So here I am drawing it. This is Px, this is Py and this is Pz. Px, Py and Pz. One thing you are observing here that I have drawn Px, Py and Pz at the same level. Here also Px, Py and Pz are at the same level. What does it mean? It means that all these 3 orbitals are belonging to the same energy level. And these type of orbital having same energy level are called degenerated orbitals. Okay, now let us see what will happen when they will combine. One instruction I have given you that Pz will combine with the Pz to form the sigma and rest of the 2 will make pi bonds. And do remember Px, Py will always remain at the same level because they will be forming same type of molecular orbital and Pz will be making sigma type of bond, so it will be different, its energy level will be different. In case of nitrogen, the energy of molecular orbital will be this way. So here we are mixing 3 orbitals plus 3 orbitals, that is 6 orbitals we are mixing here, and obviously we will be getting 6 new molecular orbitals formed, but 3 will be bonding and 3 will be antibonding. So here we have 2 orbitals together with the same energy, and as I have told you the 2 orbitals which will be having same energy among P will be Px and Py. So this Px and this is Py. All of them are 2p. These are also 2p and this is also 2p. Because px and py are supposed to make pi bond and the same energy level will be there. So these are called pi px molecular orbital and this is called pi py molecular orbital. And the another orbital which is left out is pz. So what will happen when pz will combine with pz? That will also form pz molecular orbital. But this will make sigma bond. As I told you already that pz makes sigma orbital. So this way they are going to make. So the energy level of the pz will be slightly higher than the px and py. So this is going to make pz and because this pz is going to make sigma bond, we will write it sigma pz. Because it is 2p, we will mention also sigma 2pz. Here also we can mention pi 2pz and pi 2py. On the other hand side, the same way we will be getting the molecular orbital called anti-bonding molecular orbital also. So again we will be having two levels. At one level we will be having px and py and at another level we will be having pz. Okay, so let's make it. This is first level and this is second level. So here we have px and py. So what type of orbitals will be formed? Pi star 2px and pi star 2py. So pi star, why pi star they are named as? Because they are antibonding and antibonding orbitals are always indicated by the star. Next is sigma star 2pz. So this is sigma star 2pz. How many electrons are there in px and py and pz? Because it is 2p3. 2p3 means according to Coulomb's rule 1, 2, 3 electron in the 2p. And here also this atom also will have 3 electrons in the 2p. So how many electrons do we have now? We have total 6 electrons. So we have to start filling from here. So we are going to fill electron 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We have filled all the electrons which were available to us. So this is the configuration of nitrogen molecule. If we want to make the orbital diagram, this is the energy level diagram of molecular orbital. If we want to write down the configuration, how we are going to write down the configuration? Look at this. First of all, we will start from nitrogen molecule. We will write it this way. From there to there, you will be writing down and the electron also has to be written properly. That is, I am going to start it from the first orbital, lowest energy orbital, molecular orbital, that is sigma 1s. How many electrons are filled in sigma 1s? 2 electrons. This is 2. This 1s sigma star will have more energy than sigma 1s. So we will be mentioning it this way. Sigma star 1s having how many electrons? 2. So this is 2. Now we will go to the higher energy level. So this is higher energy level. Sigma 2s. Sigma 2s. How many electrons? 2. So this is 2. Now we will reach to sigma star 2s. Sigma star 2s. How many electrons? 2. Okay. Now we have to reach to pi px, pi 2px, and obviously pi 2px and pi 2py, you can see they are at the same energy level. So this is the level I have shown you now. So this is at the same energy level. How we will write it? Pi 2px will be equal to pi 2py. How many electrons are there in the pi 2px and pi 2py? 2 and 2. So this is 2 and this is also 2. Now go to the upside. Next level is more than it. So this is sigma 2pz. 2pz. How many electrons are there? 2. So this is 2. So this way, this is the molecular orbital diagram of nitrogen molecule. This is molecular orbital diagram. This is molecular configuration of nitrogen molecule. I hope up to this it is clear to you. In the next video, you will learn how to draw the molecular orbital diagram for various species. Here we have seen only one example, that is for the nitrogen and hydrogen. But in next video, we will discuss many other species so that you will have the clear vision of molecular orbital diagram. Now I hope it is clear. that this is nitrogen electronic configuration and this is molecular orbital energy level diagram. If you get this concept clear, please hit the like button, share it with your friends and please comment in the comment box.